From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big Thursday afternoon here on Afternoons LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. We'll be going over that monthly stimulus check, how much the Democrats want you to have it, and when they want you to have it. We'll go over the breaking news as new numbers are released that impact your fourth stimulus, and we'll be going over the breaking news from the White House about your fourth stimulus today as well. A lot of details to digest. And then we turn to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall. And the comments from the Fed Chair Jay Powell are absolutely wonderful, signaling your benefits could be raised up an enormous amount with the addition of a fifth stimulus check. Then we cut to the big money the viewers continue to get, and you are ramping it up. Amping it up in crypto terms. You're getting $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $12,000. Viewers all across the board. You're cashing those checks, you're not tracking those checks, and I'm going to go over how you, as a viewer right now, can get thousands of dollars today as well. It's a big day, it's a big afternoon. Let's get to the details, and I'm excited for you, and this is Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? It's Thursday afternoon, only one day to the weekend. Congratulations, you're almost there. One day to the weekend. It got cooler in LA. It got cooler. It feels sort of June gloom. It's supposed to be June gloom because we're in June. We were having like August heat wave lately, but it's cooler here. I'm loving it. A little bit of sun, perfect. How's the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat right now and tell me how the weather is. I hope it's cooling off where you are today as well. And tell me what your plans are for the weekend as well. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, we have great news as the Democrats are pushing to the finish line to get that monthly stimulus check out the door. We'll be going over how much those Democrats want you to have and when they want you to have it. Then the second half of this video, we'll be turning to the exciting details of fifth stimulus that raises your benefits up lifetime and applies a new benchmark. And that benchmark, we now know from Jay Powell, will hit its antithesis, its peak, its highest level around the time that they apply the benchmark. Wow, now this is wonderful news. And they'll apply an additional stimulus check out to everyone. Oh boy, let's go over all those details. And then in the middle of this video, we'll be going over why so many viewers are absolutely killing it, getting thousands of dollars, now over $10,000 a viewer for the big money. You're doing it, and I want to show everyone else how to do it as well. And if you've got money, I'm going to get you more. And this is LALATE, the only 24-hour day, 7 days a week, financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. I'm next back with you with Evenings LA. This video will automatically take you to Evenings LA 7 seconds after the video's over. And then we go into Overnight's Crypto, our new blockbuster hit show. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Boy, next stop, 1 million. 400,000 subscribers in 1 year. And thank you for 2 days this week for being our biggest days of subscriber growth in several months. So subscribe. Also, like this video and consider becoming a member. Every time you like the video, you're delivered a nice eggplant salad. All right, let's get to the details. The fourth stimulus check has a monthly approach to it from both the House members and the senators. Let's go over how they differ. House Bill, Jalapal, monthly stimulus checks, pandemics plus 1 year. Senators, monthly checks, and those would go from July to December. Payouts, let's look at the payouts. 1 month of $2,000 from the House, and then $1,000 thereafter. Senators, monthly, unknown, but word on the street is the Senate Democrats want you to be paid this. Wow, now that's deliciousness. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000 per person. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400 per person. That's savory. Now, here is something we need to look back at, and we need to look back at the issue of the pandemic plus 1 year. Well, some legislators may contend the pandemic is over. That may reduce the House bill to just 12 months of checks. If you're in the live chat just after 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, get ready to vote House or Senate and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Well, if they do reduce that, that would reduce you to 12 months under the House bill, which would be $13,000. Let's compare that to the senator's approach. The senator's approach is this over 6 months? I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote who you want, House or Senate, and tell me where you're tuning in from. Vote House or Senate right now. All right, who gets a fourth stimulus check? The Democrats want you to have one. So if you got a third stimulus check, they want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Single individual, 75,000 or less, those Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, double it. Family of four, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, veterans benefits, those Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income, so it's not taxable. No. And it's not, it is a check. The fourth stimulus check would be a monthly stimulus check. It would not come in waves. So if you see the check Thursday night at the salad bar and you say, "Hey, check," and you try to wave at the check, "Hey, check, did you try the nice vinaigrette?" And all the salad, all the check does is just try to toss the salad. Don't get upset, rude check. Go toss your own salad. Don't get angry at the check. It's just not a waivable check, but it can also toss his own salad and just sort of add some croutons in there as well. It's just not a rude check. It's just, it's a vegetarian. Don't take it out on the vegetarian check, please. The fourth stimulus check would be coming monthly for those Democrats in the month of July, starting the month of July, and in the month of August, starting the month of August. The fourth stimulus check would go to a final vote in the month of July, providing it's all vegetarian then. And there you go. In the second part of this fourth stimulus check update, we'll be going over the breaking news from the White House, the breaking news from Wall Street. New jobless claims numbers were released. Oh boy, it's Thursday morning. Do you think they were good? Do you think they were bad? Vote right now in the live chat. Where do you think the unemployment numbers are good or bad? And I'll reveal them to you in a second. But first, here's a preview of the second half of this video. And the second half of this video has fifth stimulus. Now, Jay Powell has just delivered us some wonderful stuff, the head of the Federal Reserve. And he now indicates that the spike of inflation will hit in at nearly the exact time at which they apply your benchmark for raising up your benchmark for your SSI and SSDI and veterans benefits at the end of this year. Wow. Now, this is incredible news because fifth stimulus will raise your benefits up and then give you an additional stimulus check. I have all the incredible details of that coming up in the second half of this video. But hey, let's get some money. It's Thursday. It's time for the weekend. And I got to thank you. I got to praise you. You were praising each other, and I got to praise you as well. If you were in Afternoons LATE yesterday and Evenings LATE, I said, jump in the live chat right now and say what money you have gotten from this chat, from this videos, from this channel, whether it's $1 or $10,000. And trust me, we were all shocked. Viewer after viewer was saying, I got 10,000, I got 11,000, I got 12,000. There were a couple of $12,000 people in the live chat. And it was for rent, it was for utilities, it was for food. You're killing it. That's what this channel does. This channel launched in last year, and that's what I do. I don't track checks. I don't give you predictions on checks. I get you money. And I got viewers $25 million of EIDL last year to save their homes, their businesses, and their families' homes, and their employees' homes as well. But in fall of 2020, it was much like now, where we're waiting for second stimulus to get passed. And I said, hey, it's time to get some money for rent. And I got viewers a lot of money during the holidays before second stimulus got passed. And they needed it. Like Tyrone and Boston, I got them $15,000 for rent. So let's get some money right now. And it's money for rent, utilities, mortgages, and SNAP. And we're going to go over all those details. Get a pen and paper ready. I have all the money available for you. I'm going to go over to you in 1 second. And if you must use a Crayola crown, then understand I'm wearing Crayola blue today. So you're all in a happy place. All right, get ready. Each place that has this money has different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next. And we're going to start with that rent. That rent is about $5,000, about 4 to 6 months of rent. It's wonderful. Why would you not get it? All right, you ready? Here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You're not going to say words they don't know. Of course not. You don't say words they don't know like a stimulus or Nancy's fan club. Excuse me? I never heard of that. Does that exist? No, they don't know that, so don't say those words. Now, congratulations to the 3 viewers this week that have gotten over $10,000 for this. So it's incredible. I'd say $5,000 approximately for rent, but viewers are getting $10,000 now. So congratulations. It's your opportunity to get that big money as well. And congratulations to Tim and Linda, who's gotten this money additionally. Now, the next pot of the money was up to this week, the big success story, because this one was $5,000, $6,000 until we got to this week where people were getting $10,000, $12,000. What is this pot of money? It is money for your SNAP. And SNAP is money from Department of Agriculture. You reach out to Department of Agriculture to get this money for food. Money for food. How much is it paying? A lot. Family of 4 in Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year now. Why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise everyone's benefits up 15% between now and December nationally. So go get it. Lynn Glenn got it for herself and her son and her mom. Gail got it. Viewer last week got $5,000 for this. The week before, another viewer got almost $7,000 for it. We're killing it. You're killing it. We're not covering $16,000 for SNAP for a family of 4 in Hawaii, $5,000 for rent. And if you've gotten a penny to 100,000 pennies in this channel, jump in a live chat, because it inspires me and inspires someone else to say, yeah, I'm going to go get that money. All right, let's get to the next pot of the money. And it's wonderful. One viewer got $5,000 for this. What is it? It's money coming back from your state. The state has been ordered by the federal government to return money back to you when they had overpaid you unemployment assistance due to computer error, and then asked you to return the money back to them. What's in your computer is their computer. So the federal government has said you're getting this money back. How much? One viewer got $5,000 from this. Where are you going to get the money? To direct deposit on the account you have for your state unemployment office. Next, when? Well, reach back out to your state and ask them to track your check that you're owed because of the computer error, and tell them to track it with a computer that actually works. And there you go. And then the last pot of the money is wonderful. Ka got it, Margaret got it, Michael got it. If you got it as well, jump in the live chat. It is the refund back from IRS. Thank you for everyone that has updated us with telling us they got it, because that also keeps other people very motivated. Let's go over how much it is, when you're going to get it, and all the details. First, how much is it? Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 to IRS on your total tax bill, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment assistance. You're getting back $4,000. Where, if you had direct deposit set up on that 2020 return like COD did, then direct deposit otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov and you'll be shocked at the stuff you can track in there. You set up a username and password and do a transcript search, and 70% of the time it will work. And you'll just be surprised by what you can find and track in there. You will find the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid, the address to Nancy's hairstylist, the address to the casino, and the reason why, and the top 10 reasons why people don't like $12 ice cream. And you'll also find your refund check, and there you go. Can we top that news? We can, with the great news about your 4th stimulus check updated 2021 starting right now. Well, there's so much going on with forced stimulus, and it is just all over the place. Here's what you need to know going into this afternoon. There's a couple of bills that have to be done. And the fact that there are so many bills is a little bit confusing to viewers, so let me slow them down and explain them for the first time on this afternoon's LA broadcast. First, they have to do a budget bill, which is a little bit different than what's going on this channel. And that budget bills do. They had to do a voting's right bill, and that's dead. That died, so that's over. And then now they're doing the recon, which is the subject of this video, the reconciliation bill. That has 2 separate bills to it. It has a procedural bill, and it has a substantive bill. The procedural bill is much of nothing. It's just a boring bill. It says you do this and then you do that. The substantive bill, of course, is the bill that you and I are focusing on. what's in the substantive bill. How do they do the substantive bill? By all accounts, they're doing the substantive bill the way they did the third stimulus, which is the subcommittees are delegated their part of the substantive bill to mark it up. They have confirmed they're currently marking up their individual substantive bill parts. So, House Ways and Means Committee is responsible for stimulus checks, FPUC. Labor is responsible for labor. Education is responsible for education. Taxes are responsible for taxes. And they take their part of the bill, which could be anywhere from 20 pages to a couple hundred pages, and they mark it up. Once they're finished with marking up, they call it for a vote. You and I all see the calendar. We all understand the calendar. Schumer and Pelosi have said no less than a dozen times this month, last month, the month before, that this will finish by a vote totality by July 4th. It'll pass on July 4th, and it'll finish by reconciliation. They repeat that date all the time. So what's important to note is that those marking up of the provision of the language in those subcommittees is not something that those subcommittees are going to give you press releases about. They're not going to come out and give you an update about it. When they finally called for a vote in the subcommittee, that 100-page that they're working on, and they pass it, then you will see that document. And when the documents are combined to the House floor, then you'll see the combined bill for the House vote that they're voting on. We're not at that point yet. And while the president said this week, we are voting, there's still time to do the voting. And there's still time to do it very quickly. Bernie Sanders on Sunday said, I haven't had an opinion yet because I haven't seen the bill. It's important to understand that there is no bill. There is literally no procedural bill yet, and there is no substantive bill yet. As to the subparts of the substantive bill, they aren't even done yet. So that is where we are. They have to call the vote on each of these respective spots, and they don't have a lot of pomp and circumstance when they call the vote. They may have already called the vote on a respective subcommittee and not have told us. They don't do that with a lot of pomp and circumstance. They didn't do it with third stimulus. Certain subcommittees were already done, and we just didn't even know. So they may be done at certain subcommittee levels. We don't know. Here's what you also need to know, is that the president, Nancy, and Chuck are three different types of persons. Nancy and Chuck have made very clear that they are pushing the legislation and they're passing the legislation because they're legislators. They actually pass the legislation. The White House has made emphatically clear that they're relying upon Nancy and Chuck to get this done, that the White House is not taking a heavy hand on it. But today the White House is meeting with bipartisan individuals in the White House. I'll explain those details for you in a second. But here we go. That is where we are. We're currently in the recon, and the recon is finishing on July 4th. And how did we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot when Jalopal had written Schumer a letter saying, Chuck, call the vote. Call the vote. Who signed that letter? Well, 12 House Democrats signed that letter. And those 12 House Democrats are among the 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Can we top that? We can. As 7 individuals wrote the president a letter about a week ago saying, Mr. President, we're going to be putting monthly fourth stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. Well, who are these people to say that? They're on the House subcommittee that writes stimulus checks. They're on the subcommittee that's solely and exclusively responsible for writing your first stimulus check. They did it. They're responsible for writing the second stimulus check. They did it. They wrote your third stimulus check. They did it. And they now claim they're currently marking up the bill, and they're claiming there will be a fourth stimulus check in there. Wow, now that's wonderful news. Can we top that wonderful news? Yes. And they also indicate they're doing a fifth stimulus check as well later this year. Oh my goodness, can we top that? We can. The president 2 weeks ago went overseas and anchored to the finish line for stimulus by getting an international agreement that now makes it easier to pass fourth stimulus. Let me explain what he did. Fourth stimulus is paid for by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. But the president had said he was concerned by doing that because businesses may move overseas to find a lower corporate tax rate in another country. To which the president reached out to those other countries and said, raise your corporate taxes. And they said, yeah. To which the president reached out to his legislative team and said, I like how this is going. Let's go meet them in December and bring them Jill's favorite caramel popcorn and have them sign on the dotted line. But then he surprised us all. because he met with them 2 weeks ago and had them sign it then into law, which anchors forced stimulus to the finish line because now the provisions about international taxes are no longer needed for stimulus. They're in the international agreement, making it easier for the Democrat caucus to pass for stimulus. Wow, now that's wonderful news. And can we top that? We can. As Jalapal spoke out less than a week ago about where we are right now, Jalapal has made very clear that the president has told her that he has two major policies that he wants in for stimulus. And we also have that comment from Brian Schatz, who's also a progressive Democrat out of Hawaii. He's a senator. She's a House member. What do they both say? That the president has two progressive policies he absolutely needs in for stimulus, that otherwise he'll veto them. And this is very important for the second part of this video. One, climate, a progressive policy. Two, the CARES economy, which refers to seniors and their medical bills. These are both progressive policies. To which Jalapal and the House Democrat says, Mr. President, we have your back. We're putting that in your forced stimulus package for you. He's very happy. And to which he says, I have your back. Whatever progressive policies you want to put in there, I will watch your back for that as well. And of course, her progressive policies, multiple stimulus checks. Wow, now that's wonderful news. And it's also very important for the third part of this video, because you're going to see that subject matter come up later, and I'll explain in the context of something else that's going on. Very, very important. But can we get better news than that? We can, with the third part of your fourth stimulus check and fifth stimulus package coming up after this commercial break. But first, also wonderful, are the volunteers. You see why viewers are getting $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $12,000? Because they're doing themselves or they're relying on the volunteers. If you're having problems finding this rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, then reach out to the volunteers. Where are they? They're on the community page. Open the description to this video. Go down the description of this video. You'll see an emoji of a house, and then next to it, it says community page. Click the link and it sends you to news.la.com/community. It's a community page. It has a picture of some kitty cats. They're not your volunteers. They're just kitty cats. Lower all the volunteers. They can help you get that rent, that utilities, that mortgage assistance, and also that SNAP. But they can't cook you a tostada. They can't take you to Nancy's hairstylist. And they can't also take you to the salad bar to meet the check. And I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with exciting details about your fourth stimulus still unfolding and fifth stimulus right after this commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Afternoons LALATE. It's a big afternoon, a Thursday afternoon, as surf is up and we're heading into the weekend. How are ya? How's the weather where you are? Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather? It's a big afternoon, and I still have big details about the president's meeting this afternoon, today. What's going on with the rest of the week, what's going on with the voting, and what's going on with the fourth stimulus calendar. All those details coming up, and the excitement of this stimulus as well. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Thank you for giving us our biggest days of subscriber growth this week. And also like the video. Every time you like the video, it delivers you a nice salad from the salad bar where the check was. And consider becoming a member as well. Stay with this video. It'll automatically take you to Evenings LA 9 seconds after the video's over. Actually, I think it's 7 seconds after the video's over. Let's cut first to fifth stimulus and fourth stimulus, the comments from Jay Powell, and the surprising details that came out this morning. This morning, the new jobless numbers were released, and they were bad. The jobless numbers rose again, signaling we're not improving, meaning we need more stimulus. Well, that's exactly what Jay Powell said just days ago, your chair of the Federal Reserve, when he testified on Capitol Hill. He said Fed stimulus will continue to stay in place all the way to January 2022, a message which I have delivered on this channel every single day for over a year. That means that he's saying you need fourth stimulus, you need fifth stimulus, and you need Fed stimulus all the way to next year. But he also said something equally wonderful, and that was about what's happening up later this year. I'll get to that in 1 second. Fifth stimulus has a lot going on with it. First, fifth stimulus will have another stimulus check. The Democratic members of that House Ways and Means Committee confirmed that they'll be writing a fifth stimulus check in the fifth stimulus package additionally. When is that and how would that work? That would be a check for next year, for 2022. It would go into fifth stimulus, so it would start drafting in September and go to voting in about October, November by recon. Number two, great news is the president has dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure that your benefits go out on time going forward. We had that problem, that fiasco about third stimulus checks and SSI and SSDI and Direct Express by Comerica. He wants to stop all that to ensure checks go out on time. This is fourth stimulus, this is fifth stimulus, and this is also your benefits checks. It's ramping up both payroll, staffing, and computer systems at the agency. Finally, let's go to the raising up of your benefits from fifth stimulus. What did Jay Powell also say about this? Insanely great news. He said that inflation is hot, but it will reach its hottest spot exactly where we wanted it to hit, around November and December. This is huge. This is astronomical. This gives you a lot more money than SS 200 Elizabeth Warren would have ever given you. What is at issue here? It's an issue here is that Jay Powell says that in November, December, inflation will be its highest spot. Wow, that's the words we wanted to hear. Number two, GDP will be at its highest level. Labor will have improved to its best level, and business creation and business formation will be at its best level of the year. Now, what does that mean for your fifth stimulus? Let's go over all the details starting out right now. Fifth stimulus involves raising up your benefits one big time, and then adding that inflation benchmark, removing the asset limit, removing the income exclusion, and removing the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this calculates in view of Jay Powell's wonderful comments. First, they'll raise your benefits up one time. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, multiple benefits, or Causina benefits. Then they'll apply the benchmark. You know what that means. That means that every December they apply a benchmark for next year's benefits. And you know the new benchmark will be inflation, and you know inflation's going to be higher than where it is right now. Now you also know that Jay Powell's saying that the inflation rate will be at its highest spot when they apply your benchmark. Wow, this is wonderful news. This is the news you wanted. So basically, we have everything lined up that we want, with the exception of two things still waiting. Them to pass this bill, and two, a big, nice inflation rate. So how high could that inflation rate be? Wall Street analysts, based upon the PPI and the CPI, has said that maybe we're going from about 4% now to about 10%. Let's do that possible calculation right now. Your benefits will be raised up one time, and then in December they'll apply the benchmark, which will raise your benefits up not just 10% next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. This is wonderful, wonderful news. Next, under the reform, they can remove the asset cap. Dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away. Now you'll be able to have some stimulus checks in your hand and maybe some Crayola crayons. They're going to remove the income cap. Dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. Now you'll be able to work if you want. And notice all the sun coming in. Wow, it's getting very sunny here. And also, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. It's awful. It's very old, and it penalizes you if you're married and prevents you from getting married. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will now be able to get married and no longer fear the marriage penalty. And there you go. That is fifth stimulus. Now, there's a lot of other items in fifth stimulus, a lot of other items in fourth stimulus, and a fortune in third stimulus for you to get. If you've watched over this video or seen on the live chat how viewers are getting $5,000, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000, how are they doing it? They're becoming a member. The membership link's at the top of the chat in the pinned comment. When I told you the third stimulus was going to pass, and I told you it was going to pass in spring of this year, I said, sure, you'll get a $1,400 stimulus check, but you'll be eligible from anywhere from $1,000 to $15,000 of additional money you can get. And that you should not be tracking stimulus checks. You should be getting these thousands and thousands of dollars, which dwarfs the amount of stimulus check. Now you see how viewers are doing it. So how can you do it? By becoming a member, daily I deliver to you a breakdown of all the monies in third stimulus that you can get. Many of them are application-based. Additionally, when you see those monies, you want to be first come because a lot of the monies are first come, first serve. So consider becoming a member right today and get that breakdown delivered daily, written by me for you, sent from the community page on YouTube. A breakdown of the items in third stimulus that has thousands of dollars of money for you right now, and the proposed items under fourth and fifth stimulus. All right, let's cut back to the final big update of your fourth stimulus of 2021 right now. You know, there's a couple things I want to go over in this afternoon, and I have to insert some sort of personal insight into how I'm seeing the situation. Number one, we all have a calendar, and we can all look at a calendar. So we're all looking at the calendar, and we understand that Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi have said 1,000 times by July 4th. That's their quote. Remember, these aren't my quotes, and there's always a person who's a very trolly or negative person who says, I'm the one voting on it, that LATE's voting on the bill, that LATE's writing the bill, that LATE's calling the vote. No, I'm not doing it. I'm sitting here in Los Angeles. I'm not in D.C. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, your elected officials, say that the vote will be finished by July 4th. So we're all looking at the calendar and we're like, well, we're counting out days. We're all doing that. I mean, you have to assume we're all doing that. We all have a calendar on our phone and we're counting out days. They can do the 9 steps tighter. They don't need 9 days to do 9 steps. They can do multiple steps per day, but we're still counting out the calendar. That's the first issue. The second issue is we've done enough stimulus packages to know that these congressional leaders don't tell us what they're doing. In fact, they don't tell each other what they're doing. So when Bernie Sanders on Sunday said, I haven't seen any drafts, I haven't seen anything, I don't know what they're even drafting up, that's not unusual. We hear this all the time. AOC talks about this all the time. But it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult as a viewer, of course, because we're sitting here saying, well, what's House Ways and Means Committee doing? What's that other committee doing? Why don't they give us press releases? You go to the press release page. There's no press release. You wait for a comment and you wait something here. So it is sometimes sort of frustrating because you're sitting here wondering what's the update from that person. And they don't say anything. Not because they're not doing anything, because they just don't traditionally update stuff. When we did third and second stimulus, they didn't tell us until it was literally like done. And it was out of the subcommittees and then into the floors. Finally, here's what's also very frustrating. It's personally frustrating for me, is that there's not a lot of very good in-depth political news sites that go to the individual subcommittees and get quotes from the members. They're in D.C. with D.C. reporters that are going to them and asking for, what did you do today? What did you do today? Because viewers, you're asking me. I'm not in D.C., so I'm relying upon any update where reporters are going to those subcommittees. What did you do today? How much have you done? Here's the problem, and I'm going to say it with a very, very clear personal message. I opened one site that I really do like, and every time I open it up, I forget this is a very conservative slanting website because it tries not to look like it is, but it is. And the problem is that when I read through it to try to get you the update of what a subcommittee is doing, there is more of an adverb or adjective to every sentence than just telling me what's going on. That basically it's, well, the progressives are angry with Biden. Can you just tell me what's going on? Biden's angry at the progressives, and the conservative Democrats are angry at the progressives. Okay, can you just tell me what's going on? And then I'll decide if they're angry or not. So it's difficult because you don't have a lot of clarity. That's in the context of today's meeting. So today's meeting, the president is at the White House having members of that small group of ancillary people. I don't want to call them the bipartisan group because they're not the bipartisan group. That's what they want to call themselves. He's having them at the White House. Now, having them at the White House means much of nothing because he's had Shelley Moore Capito at the White House for 2 weeks and that went to nowhere. And he's having them at the White House. Now, here is what we know from another website that actually gave us detail. The people that are going to meet him have not even figured out in their own mind how they would pay for forced stimulus. And it's now been confirmed again yet today that they have not even bridged that issue. Now you're looking at the calendar. It's like, wait a second. This is the first thing you figure out. How are you going to pay for this thing? You do that on day one. You don't do this with, 14 days to go. Yeah. So you see where I'm going here. So these people going to the White House, I presume, because this is the way the president has spoken, the first thing he's going to say, how are you going to pay for it? Well, we like, $900 billion for this. Yeah, but how are you going to pay for it? Well, we haven't, focused on. We're running out of time here. When are you going to think about that? And so, unfortunately, there is not a lot of clarity as to what is going on with the specifics sometimes in some of these daily twists and turns. If you looked at that website that is very conservative slanting, meaning it likes to say negative things about Biden and positive things about Trump, it will talk about how Jalapal is now feuding with the president. So am I going to run that story with you? No, because I have a quote from Jalapal directly on Friday that says she's perfectly wonderful with the president. But there are articles saying Jalapal's furious with the president. The progressives are furious with the president. Progressives don't. But that's a very conservative website. It's Trump, and every article is negative Biden, pro-Trump. So it's a little bit difficult. It's a very big, difficult thing. Here's one thing that is a very clear personal message, which I want you to make sure you understand right here, right now. The biggest concern is the clock running out for everything. The clock running out for everything. If you were with me in July of last year, you were with me when the clock ran out. The clock ran out and it didn't get reset. They came back to D.C. to do the postman, Louis DeJoy, and they did him with a standalone bill. They didn't take care of your FPUC. The clock ran out. The clock ran out in July of 2020. My concern is the clock running out. What you need to understand, and I think you do understand this, is that when the clock runs out, the whole bill runs out of time. Not that just your stimulus check runs out of time. So we have to be very attentive to the fact that the clock is ticking. And if the clock continues to tick, the clock could run out of time, which means everything, the whole stimulus package, does not get done. And so what would happen next? We would see. It would likely get delayed for weeks. That's why we're never tracking checks on this channel. We're cashing checks. I want you to make sure that you understand that with a clock running, that is the key issue. Now, one thing finally we do know is that the president has relied upon Chuck and Nancy to guide legislative efforts. He has never been hands-on with that, which is good. That ultimately, if Chuck and Nancy want to do certain things, that they will do it, and he's not going to interfere with them. Chuck and Nancy have always said recon. They've never said anything but recon, and they've always said do it by July 4th. So the president meeting with, Vladimir Putin in the White House or Ron Johnson, which is about the same thing. It doesn't make a difference to Chuck and Nancy because he allows them to go do what they got to do. All right, let's go with the voting steps that you need to know because this is very important now that you've seen how I've broken this down. There's 9 voting steps. The first 4 are very mundane. They can even do the first 4 they could probably do the first 4 in one day if they wanted to. But the second 5 are the most important. 5, 7, and 8 are critical. All right. And they can do the first 4 while they're still doing the second 5, because first they do the procedural vote and they could still be working on the substantive bill. Step 1, the House subcommittee votes on the procedural bill. Step 2, the House floor votes on the procedural bill. Step 3, the Senate votes on the procedural bill. Step 4, the President signs the procedural bill into law. All right, time to go get the tow hitch, the substantive bill. This is where that House subcommittee votes on the substantive bill. The House subcommittee and all the other House subcommittees finish with a vote on their part of the substantive bill. If you got 20 House subcommittees, they all call their votes on their part of the substantive bill, and they say passed. At that point, the House subcommittee from the House Ways and Means Committee could put the monthly stimulus checks in there or may not. Then Nancy combines all those subcommittee bills together and sends it to a House floor vote on step 6. At that point, they could change something as well. Now the bill has passed the House, off to the Senate. The Senate has 3 options on steps 7 and 8. Steps 7 and 8 are the critical 2-day vote-a-rama. During that 2-day vote-a-rama, the senators make changes to the bill. So they have 3 possibilities. 1, the House had no stimulus checks in there. The senators added in there. Possibility 2, the House had stimulus checks in there and the senators love it. They leave it alone. Possibility 3, the House had stimulus checks in there, but the senators still want to amend it. And then the president signs into law. And finally, Purple Power push. It's important to continue to push Purple Power because you see that this is starting to become a push not only to get it in there, but also to get it done. Get it done. The clock is ticking, and we all have a calendar. We all understand. The biggest concern that is at issue right now is getting the whole thing done on time. Not so much that something is in there or not in there, because there is not there yet. We're not at the there yet. There is no bill. We have an emoji for there. Not bill yet. So tag your Democratic caucus and senators and House members. Tag your progressives. Progressive caucus of the House, progressive caucus of the Senate. Also, tag your House Ways and Means a Twitter handle, and your chair and staffers and members, House members. And then finally, retweet one another. Hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power. And finally, if you don't use social media, then the telephone. And with that, join me next on Evenings LA. You saw how this is an extended broadcast. A lot of things happening. We're on top of the game, and we're on top of all the details. So follow me next on Evenings LA. This video will take you there automatically in 7 seconds from now. And then we go into Overnight's Crypto, the new massive hit show that is really exciting this channel. Joining this channel next is a stock show as well. And with that, stay informed, stay focused, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, share these videos on social media. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. It helps with the algorithm rankings, and it also helps deliver a nice vinaigrette salad. And consider becoming a member so that you have all the details of 3rd stimulus, 4th stimulus, and 5th stimulus delivered to you daily so you know the big money you can get. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.